Hello goat lovers, Crystal here with Blue Cactus Dairy Goats, and today I'm going to show you how to get your buck's DNA on file for ADGA's mandatory buck rule. So what is DNA typing? Now this is literally when you're going to send in samples to a lab and they are going to collect the DNA from the sample and it is going to be put on file with ADGA. Now ADGA did make a new rule, so any buck that is born in 2024 and beyond has to be DNA'd, that has to be on file with ADGA for their offspring or their kids to be registered. So the purpose of this fairly new rule ADGA has made mandatory is just simply to lessen mistakes in the pedigree. So if you think about it, the whole registration is just simply on who the parents of these new registered kids are. So you're following their pedigree, their family tree, if you will. And so if one animal, can I have my shirt? Thank you. If one animal on that pedigree is incorrect, it can really whack out a whole line very, very quickly. So anyway, ADGA is just wanting to lessen any mistakes or wrongdoing on anybody's part and just to make sure that these animals are who these animals are said to be. ADGA is only requiring bucks born in 2024 and beyond to have their DNA on file for their kids to be registered, and they're not doing it with the dams at this point. So if you think about it, mistakes can happen if a buck breeds a doe and for some reason it wasn't caught or the breeder did not realize that that was the buck who is siring those kids. Then it can be caught and the pedigree can make sure that the pedigree is accurate and there's no mistakes on that end. Now as far as the doe is concerned, they don't require that for the parents at this time. Maybe in the future they will, but it's pretty obvious who the dam is. You see the kids being born, she's feeding them, she's cleaning them off, so it's very, very clear who the mama is of the babies. So anyway, this is not something that's hard to do. I know it can be very, very intimidating. I get a lot of questions on how to do it. And so now I'm finally getting around to making a video. Yes, and we're using Hank here. So I'm going to show you all the steps. It's going to be easy, easy peasy. And by the time this video is done, you'll feel really great and confident that you can do it on your own and see that there was nothing to worry about from the very start. That being said, step one is done on the computer. So let's go. Right now, Blue Cactus Soap is running our 4th of July sale, and all orders over $50 get 20% off through July 6th. It's the perfect time to treat your skin right, as many of your favorites are back in stock. So head on over to our Etsy shop and show your skin some love. The link to our Etsy shop is in the description below. Alright guys, so first things first, you are going to need to log in to your ADGA account, and this is home base here. This is what your account looks like as soon as you log in, and super easy. Right up here at top there is a DNA request, so we are going to select that. And then this is the page that is going to populate for you. Now, it is already selected for an unregistered goat. You can request DNA typing on an unregistered goat just using their tattoos. However, that is not what we're doing today. So I'm going to unselect that, and then it is going to let me select an animal that is in my name and is already registered. So if you select this little arrow here, it'll pull up your frequently used registration numbers. However, you can also just type it in, select it, and then everything's going to auto-populate. So for this case, again, we are using Hank, and just make sure that the information shows correct. He is an April Fool's baby. He is male. His parents, Oregon is the sire, and Honey was our dam for him. So everything is correct. We're just going to select next. So for ADGA's mandatory buck rule, we are going to select parentage and individual typing. We are not going to select individual typing, and the reason being, so if you select parentage and individual typing, this is going to allow any current or future sire and dam results to be included. So it's important. This is the one you're going to want to select. Now we're going to go next. Now, For the parents, it is going to ask if you want to test the parents. Oregon already has DNA on file, so the sire is good, but it is showing, you guys can't really see that, it's a little whacked out, not sure why, but anyway, it shows honey right here as not being DNA typed. So it's already going to kind of put it in there and ask if you would like to take a hair sample from her as well, and not interested in this particular moment. So I'm just going to unselect that, hit OK, and then I'm going to review my request, right? So this is for Hank. So potential dam, it shows she doesn't have any DNA on file, again, which is fine, and Oregon did. So his DNA has been pulled and is on file. And so because it's on file, they're going to be able to cross-reference and make sure his DNA is the same as Oregon's. And let's see. So then, yep, it is $35. And then what we're going to do here, guys, is finish. And then it gets added to your cart. Here we go. Right? So we're going to go up to our cart, select it, and then, right, so it's just going to come out of my account balance. So make sure you have a balance or this isn't going to work for you. And then I'm going to confirm it. Payment has been processed successfully. Perfect. Okay, so once you submitted your DNA request through your ADGA website, they are then going to email you what they call the DNA kit. Now, it's not a kit like you would think. It is literally 2 pieces of paper. However, that being said, once you submit it, ADGA asks that you allow 24 hours for it to be received and emailed to you. But for the sake of time and my patience, I'm not going to wait the 24 hours. But I do have a DNA kit or the 2 papers on a previous buck that I'm going to let you guys see so we can reference it. Okay, so these are what the 2 papers look like. Nothing fancy here, guys. There's their disclaimer that they are going to own the DNA information, and then this is for the lab. So this piece of paper is pretty important. You're going to send it with your hair samples, and this paper, however, this is the little portion of your DNA kit that it wants you to cut out and then tape to your envelope. Then you take it outside and then you would pluck the hairs. But again, I'm not going to wait the 24-hour period. I will receive it, and before I send it off to the lab, I will make sure to tape it on the envelope with the proper buck's hair. Now, that being said, I am going to write myself the buck's name so that I don't get anything confused. Okay, so now that that easy step is done, Hank and I are going to show you exactly what we need from him. He's being so patient. He's such a good boy. He's such a good boy. Yes, he is. Okay, so supplies needed are, number 1, your buck that you need to get the DNA on file for, right? So we're covered there. We got old Hanker. Oh, good boy. He's such a good boy. And then from there, we got our 2 4x9 envelopes. I don't know that this is super particular, but that is in what's in the rules, is a 4x9 envelope. It's the easiest size to get, so it shouldn't be an issue for anybody. I do have 2 of them. However, you don't have to. It's just highly recommended. So this is Hank's name in full so that I don't get it mixed up with any other buck's hair. And the reason I have 2 is because I'm going to take some samples and keep them for myself as well. Now, I have gloves, and if you're doing more than 1 buck, you're going to switch your gloves out every single time, you guys. You want to make sure that you don't get another buck's hair inside the incorrect envelope. And then I just have a comb and my pliers. All right, so those are the supplies that are needed, and now I'm going to show you where the best spots to pluck these hairs are. What? I don't need the... What are we doing? You think you're ready? Was that good? You're so cute. So there's a few different spots you can actually choose from to collect the hairs for the DNA samples. Now it's going to be the areas where the hairs are the longest, the thickest, the prettiest. So you can do right here by the withers, you can do right here on the chest, the rump, or these long hairs on the back of the leg. Now my favorite spot is right here on the rump, Look at all of these gorgeous big long hairs. And of course, look at your animal before you decide though, because you want to get, again, the thickest, prettiest hairs that look to be the healthiest. All right, so for the comb, I'm literally just gonna comb out the area that I'm gonna get the samples from. And the reason being is any hairs that come out real easy, if they're shedding, if they have any down, if there's any debris, hay or dirt or anything like that, you want to get rid of it. So here, I actually have 2 combs. I'm gonna go over with this bigger one first, just to make sure we're only wanting to send in the good hairs, right? So here, we're gonna go the other way. See how big those hairs are? And then here, if you guys see, these little hairs that came off, right? So those are like the shedding hairs. They're not gonna be the strongest. They're not gonna be ones that they want to subtract DNA out of. Okay, so I got the area all clean. I'm gloved up now, and I do have my pliers. These pliers work really, really good. Make sure you got some pliers that really can grip onto those hairs and pull them out, guys, because that's what we're gonna need. And also ensure that your pliers are very, very clean, especially if this is the second goat that you're collecting DNA off of. You want to rinse these off, spray them with alcohol, do the whole shebang. Now what you're gonna do, find a nice pretty spot, guys, and you don't want like long like this. You're not looking for that. You're looking for a nice kind of little bunch, if you will. Just like that is sufficient. And then, hold on, buddy. And then you're gonna get down to the bottom and you're going to pull, squeeze your pliers, obviously, get down there and squeeze the pliers, and you're gonna yank against the hair. So the hairs are going this way, so we're gonna yank this way. And we're gonna do it fast, because, you know, this isn't something fun, right? Ready? There we go. Each hair is gonna have what's called a bulb on it. Now the end of these hairs, and you don't wanna touch the bulbs, but the end of these hairs have little bulbs, and that is where they're gonna extract the DNA. So it's super important that we have those bulbs on the hairs. And then we are just gonna carefully put it in the envelope. We are looking for 20 to 40 hairs that have the bulbs on them. Let's see here, which means I am aiming for 60, just cause, right? So I'm gonna get that clump again. I'm gonna go down to the skin, and we're pulling against the hair, just like so. Sorry, buddy. And that is gorgeous. I see all kinds of bulbs on the hair, so make sure you verify, and again, don't touch the bulb. And there, if you see that, I have a good amount of hair in here, definitely more than they will need, and it is all in its own little envelope. So from this point, I'm just gonna seal up the envelope. So something else that you're gonna wanna make sure you do not do. It seems logical to put these hair samples in a Ziploc bag so that they're safe and secure, but do not do that, because they can get moisture in that Ziploc bag and it can quickly ruin the DNA samples. So you wanna make sure it just goes in the envelope, guys. Seal up the envelope so that your DNA can be collected out of those bulbs, and they're good to go. And they will last for years and years, just like that. All right, guys, so literally from here, I am just going to send the samples in. So I'm gonna put them in another envelope with the address to UC Davis, which is the lab that ADGA uses, and they do provide you that address in the kit. Now, like I said, I have to wait for that kit to come. I just checked again. You're just a licker. I just checked again, and I haven't had the email sent to me yet. I highly encourage you guys not to wait until after you use the buck, just in case there's any hiccups or anything like that. So, what do you think? I think he wants to go back to his pen, and he's sick of his hairs being plucked out. He's a good boy. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all again soon.